Don't wait for permission here. Bring your evidence forward proactively. I'm telling you, this is a moment where the eyes of the recruiter start shining. This is where they lean in. This is where it stops sounding like everyone else and starts sounding like someone they want to fight for, to bring on the team. Bring the examples, bring the numbers proactively. It changes everything. If you've been preparing for sales job interviews, maybe you've watched a dozen videos, maybe you've practiced with friends, maybe you were trying to land your very first sales development job or transition into a new sales role, and yet you still feel like you're not breaking through, this video is for you. Because after coaching hundreds and hundreds of people into tech sales roles, sitting inside hiring loops, watching patterns repeat over and over again, I've noticed something that nobody tells you. Most people fail sales interviews for reasons they don't even realize. And they're not small things, like they're not the, oh, I should have answered that question better. They're foundational things. Things that quietly decide whether you're memorable or forgettable, whether you stand out or fade into the stack of 30 other interviews that week. I've watched incredibly talented people who would be amazing at the job, completely lose momentum in interviews simply because their energy was flat or their story was unpolished or they didn't bring any numbers to back things up. And I've watched candidates who honestly weren't the strongest on paper absolutely crush interviews because they knew how to show up. So today, I want to walk you through the 5 things that consistently differentiate the people who get offers from the people who keep hearing, we went with another candidate. And I'm telling you now, if you fix these, your interview performance will upgrade immediately. So let's dive in. Tip number 1, and this is a game changer, you guys. You need to amplify your energy by at least 50%. And I don't mean be fake or overly enthusiastic or robotic. I mean real grounded, present energy. I don't know if you know this, but Zoom drains us. The camera flattens your tone, your expressions, your presence. I once coached someone who was brilliant, sharp, well-prepared, extremely capable. I knew she would rock it in sales. But she was speaking at her normal energy levels, which in Zoom translated to almost no energy at all. She didn't realize how muted she came across until I recorded her and literally showed her. The moment she dialed herself up by even 30%, she suddenly became charismatic, memorable, confident. That's how big of a difference it makes. Hiring managers speak to so many candidates back to back to back that your energy becomes your differentiator. So smile more than you naturally do. Sit up straighter. Let your excitement show. Use your hands if that's natural to you. Let your voice have shape. Not louder necessarily, more alive. People don't hire fine. They hire someone who feels like they actually want to be there. And for some of you, this will feel uncomfortable at first, I know. Practice it. Record yourself. You will see the difference, I promise you, within seconds. Tip number 2, your storyline. Your tell me about yourself answer is the anchor of the entire interview. It's not a biography, it's your pitch. This is where you build your narrative, where everything you've done up to this point suddenly makes sense in the context of this role. You're connecting dots, your personal background, your education, your previous jobs, your skills, your personality, and tying them all directly into why you're a great fit for sales or for this company specifically. And I've seen this so many times. People casually throw away the most powerful parts of their story because they think that's not relevant, when in reality, those are the exact things that make them stand out. If you're coming from hospitality, for example, talk about pressure management, customer psychology, upselling premium rooms. If you're coming from teaching, talk about presenting clearly, handling different types of personalities, organizing chaos. If you're coming from retail, mention reading customer cues, driving sales, and staying calm during peak hours. If you're coming from absolutely outside sales entirely, talk about the discipline it took to learn a language quickly, or the grit you built through sports, or the internship where you had to persuade others or manage timelines. One of my coachees came from a marketing background, pure marketing, solid experience, but zero formal sales. And he kept telling me, I don't think any of this counts for sales, which is something I hear all the time. But once we reframed his story around understanding customer psychology, writing persuasive copy, a huge skill, analyzing behavior patterns, running campaigns under pressure, and owning measurable outcomes, everything shifted. We pulled specific numbers like increasing engagement by 35% or managing multi-step campaigns with tight deadlines, and position them as proof of his ability to influence decisions and drive revenue. And the moment he told his story through that lens, he immediately started getting callbacks and moving into final rounds. Tell a cohesive story, not a list, and memorize your numbers, conversion rates, satisfaction metrics, membership sales, academic achievements, languages learned, anything relevant that shows grit, motivation, success, talent. Specificity builds trust. Again, specificity builds trust. Tip number 3, do your research. Not the quick skim the homepage research, real research, please. Learn what the company sells, who they sell to, what problems they solve, how customers talk about them online, what their competitors look like, what the CEO has been talking about in interviews on LinkedIn, what industry shifts are happening. When I worked with candidates who struggled in interviews, I noticed the same pattern. They sounded generic, fluffy. They did not stand out because nothing they said was anchored in the company's reality. But the moment you walk in with that level of context, your entire presence shifts. You sound sharper, more thoughtful, more prepared. And when they say, do you have any questions for us? You don't ask generic questions like, how will AI impact the sales team? Or what's your long-term vision for the team or the company? No. You ask questions that show you understand the business. Questions are a time to impress. This is a test in and of its own. Something like, I saw your CEO talk about expanding into the Latin American market next year. How is that affecting the SDR team strategy? Or based on the case studies on your website, it seems like you're strong in fintech and logistics. Are those your primary ICPs, ideal customer profiles right now? Or are you expanding into more fields and verticals? These questions alone put you in the top 1%. I've seen people go from being ignored to being fast-tracked simply because of these thoughtful questions. They're an accelerator in interviews. Tip number 4, bring examples and numbers to everything. Everything. Claims are cheap. Proof isn't. If you say you're great under pressure, give me an example. A weekend in retail where you handle the floor alone and still hit 20% above average sales. If you say you're highly organized, talk about how you built a system for tracking follow-ups or tasks efficiently. If you say you're creative, talk about the email you wrote that got 30% response rate. If you're pivoting from non-sales roles, use examples from anywhere: sports, school, retail, hospitality background, projects, volunteering. A student in my program who had never worked in sales a day in his life used a story about learning Spanish and Portuguese on her own within months, showing discipline, consistency, and self-directed learning, and the hiring manager loved it. Everything counts if you learn how to frame it. And one more thing here that people completely underestimate, you need to bring these examples up proactively. Do not wait for them to ask you. When they ask, how would your manager describe you, or what are your strengths, and you start listing things like motivated, persistent, organized, fast learner, pause and immediately bring proof, stories, numbers. Stress the fast learner part. Give the example, give the numbers, back it up. You say you're organized, tell them about the system you created. You say you're motivated, talk about the project you initiated. You say you're a fast learner, great. Mention how quickly you picked up a new tool or skill. Don't wait for permission here. Bring your evidence forward proactively. I'm telling you, this is a moment where the eyes of the recruiter start shining. This is where they lean in. This is where you stop sounding like everyone else and start sounding like someone they want to fight for, to bring on the team. Bring the examples, bring the numbers proactively. It changes everything. And finally, tip number 5, show hunger. This one matters more than people realize. Sales leaders hire people who really want it, people who are willing to put in the extra effort, grow, learn, be coachable, take feedback, not desperate, but driven. And hunger is communicated through action. The fact that you researched, that you practiced, that you worked on your pitch, that you already listened to sales podcasts, read books, took a course to upgrade your sales skills, that you invested energy into preparing for this role even before you applied. I can't tell you how many times I've seen hiring managers overlook someone with a perfect resume and choose the hungrier candidate, the one who had fire in their eyes. So bring me this fire during your interviews at every step. Hunger is magnetic, especially in sales. It's what makes hiring managers think, this person is going to hit the ground running. This is the one I want. And if you want deeper help with all of this, your storyline, your examples, your mock answers, your confidence, that's exactly what I built Step into Tax Sales for. Step into Tax Sales is my full online program built from my 12 plus years of experience in the industry, designed to take you from zero to fully prepared. It's everything I wish I had when I started. All the insider tips, all the frameworks, all the examples, all the exact steps that help my students land offers within weeks or a couple of months. It gives you structure, clarity, and an organized process so you're not winging it or guessing your way through interviews. And whether you join or not, take these 5 tips and start implementing them today. This is how you pass sales interviews. This is how you stand out. And this is how you get hired.